How do we start? Let me get first my coffee, because I definitely need a coffee for that. I had a brilliant day yesterday. I've been out in London. I literally had a call in the morning from Marcelinho. Didn't answer it. Called obviously back. He didn't answer. Then I called Shady, Norwich City Physios, and I called him and said, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing?" And he was actually training with Marcelinho in a Norwich City kid. They did obviously a recovery session or something like that. I went to London because I had to do some things around London. I had to sort some stuff out, and had a great day in London, to be honest. Everything was absolutely amazing until I just got the message all over social media that Marcelinho Núñez is going to Ipswich. Let me say it again. Ipswich. Do you understand what this means? The thing is, a few years ago, when I arrived at Norwich City, the first thing people told me back then, welcome to Norwich first, and we want to let you know there's a team that you never can lose against. We got a certain run against them, been unbeaten for a few years. They showed me straight away the importance of that game. And I realized from the first day I came over, how important that is for the Norwich City supporter. What that means for them. When I walked through the city and went for shopping, a lot of people before the games or just for a little chat, they always said, never lose against them. And no one really liked them. So I understood very quick that that's very important for the fans. And I think for every player that comes to a club, you need to understand that for some fans, the club and football is everything. They invest everything what they got into it. You come to a new environment, you have to learn and educate yourself with the history of the club. I think that's very important wherever you go, and to know what matters for the fans. When I arrived here, I got the message straight away. Everyone that comes to Norwich City knows straight away the importance of that derby. I have to say, yesterday I was shocked, and I'm still shocked, and it was a long night. I think I slept yesterday 4 hours, guys. I don't know how much coffee I had yesterday, but I had a lot of coffee, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I have seen. Let's talk about Marcelinho a bit. Marcelinho is a brilliant player. I never seen a player working as hard like him. People say he's injury prone. I don't know where they got that now. Yeah, he had some issues here and there, but so other players. Every time when Marcelinho was on the pitch, that's for sure, he gave everything. There's no player that runs more on the pitch, 12 to 13k, than Marcelinho Núñez at that Norwich City side. And everyone knows that there. We all know he is a lovely, generous, humble guy. I knew from back then, I think last season or something like that a few clubs shown some interest in him. And I spoke to him about it, and he said, look, I'm very ambitious. I want to play one day somewhere in the highest leagues in the world. And, as a young lad, of course, you want to be ambitious. You want to play somewhere high in the best league in the world. That's normal. When I seen him arriving at Norwich, he had on his phone literally the World Cup and the Champions League Cup, a lot of things on his phone, and he still walks with that around. He's an ambitious young player. And he always told me, look, there's interest from that club, there's interest from that club, and there's interest from that club. And there was also interest from Ipswich. But I told him, when you would ever consider a move there, what would happen? I explained him everything. He knew about it. But I said as well to him, if I get a chance again playing against you, I will fucking break you. That's what I say to him. He knew exactly what would happen if he would have had any thoughts about it. the scenario around him, all the fans, that because he was such a loved guy here at Norwich City. But I also told him that I don't believe that Norwich City would never ever consider to sell him to that club. I say to him, look, there's probably other clubs that showed interest and would offer that amount of money and stuff like that. I said to him back then as well. And he said, yeah, probably, but let's see what happened, you know? Like, obviously, it's my agent, you know? And we can't, as a football player, we can't control what agents actually do, because they do the things for us. Also, we have here and there some conversations with them, but they do the things with sporting directors and whatever. With other clubs, they deal with all of those things. So as I mentioned, I say to him, I believe the club will never let you go. They can't do that. Because of the fans. For the fans, that would be a disaster. And it is a fucking disaster. It is. For all we are standing for as Norwich City supporter, in my opinion, this is a disaster. What happened there? So I told him I couldn't believe that this is even possible. That this is even in the thoughts of anyone at that club that thinks like, you know what, we will ever sell Marcelinho to a rival, and especially to that rival. I was considering in that point that that will never happen, 100%. And he had also other offers, as far as I know and heard. Let's be real in that point as well. Apparently people are saying he pushed for that. I don't believe Marcelinho's pushed for that move. This is some nonsense that people are start to talk about. He pushed it, whatever, because it was put out there from some people that are responsible for that as well. You know what it means to push something like that for me. Do you remember last season, first game, Johnny Rowe against Oxford? He didn't want to play that game. Why? Because he was forcing his way out. This is for me pushing a way out. Marcelinho, when I spoke to him back then, he said, look, if I have to stay here in this club, I stay and play a very good season and go in the summer for free. And then some other teams will get me then for free. So he didn't say he wanted to go right now. He just accepted everything what was happening. Despite that there was some interest, he also said, I would stay that season and play. And let's just think about the first game of the season when he wasn't even starting. And by the way, we know what Marcelinho is capable of. He's a good player. He knows the championship. He got championship experience now. You know what you got on him. He didn't even start the game, the first game. So that's a bit rare. So what was going on there already? But yeah, that's a question to answer for someone else. Let me say something very important. That this is a disgrace move from him, I absolutely agree with everyone. This is a disgrace move. And you know, he was one of my good friends, but obviously with that move, I'm not sure if I want to continue that friendship with him. Because obviously now he plays for a rival. And a rival that me falling in love with my club and had the best years at this football club, it's for me just a disgrace to just join a team like that. And it's probably for them great business. Yeah, might be good for them. But for everything what I stand for in the last 2 years and everything what we went through with that club, Norwich City, and all the fans and the supporters, it's just not acceptable. Not acceptable. So let's move then to the business part of it. I know he had obviously 1 year left in his contract. And obviously, business-wise, selling a player right now, before he leaves as the free agent in the summer, is a great deal. And that business world, it's amazing. But football is not just business. Football means much more for some people than just business. And I don't understand how a club can sell one of our best important players at the start of the season to one of a rival that is well known to be one of our biggest rivals and enemies in football. If you come to Norwich and know about that history with those rivals, you would know and understand that this move is a disaster. That got nothing to do with business. You have to think about the people that support and spend their hard-earning money week in, week out, away games, home games, whatever. What they stand for. That's something you can't just take with money. It is history. How can you as a club then sell a player to that rival in the same league and one of your biggest enemies? How? How is it possible? How? I don't understand this. Despite the decision of the player, whatever he chose to do is a disaster, but from the club perspective, to let him go, to them, to have just that idea to go to Ipswich, I rather let him rotten in the under 23s for the whole season and he don't even play. I don't care. He can go as a free agent in the summer, he don't play. But you know what? Obviously that was not a consideration. Great business. There was something said about that they try to offer that player 2 contracts or something like that. I don't know if it's true. I know there was some conversations, but as far as I know, back then, the conversations be not great. And selling the project, returning to a Premier League to that kind of player wasn't great either. I don't understand how a rival like Ipswich could convince that player more than a club like Norwich City. At the end of the day, it is just a disaster. And I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. And I'm shocked. I'm still shocked. From my perspective as a Norwich City fan, I don't know what the club was doing there. I don't know what Nunez was doing there. Both of them are absolute shambles. Honestly, this is... But well, that's obviously football. Obviously, I still support my club. And I will forever. But that means now, for me as a supporter, I want to see a few good results. Minimum top 6. And being 17 years unbeaten. That's what I want to see for my lads. And we need to smash that guy. Piss me off, that shit.